What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. Of course, it is Bachelorette recap day. We will be getting into that, but first, we're going to talk about some topics. Actually, though, before we get into the topics, just a reminder, we have new merch on sale. Very exciting. Back to school stuff. We have this new journal. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see it. Otherwise, you could just go on our Instagrams or Twitters and you'll see us posting about it there. But we have this new journal. It says Chicks, and then it says write that shit down. Great journal. I actually love journals like this. They're hard, sturdy. There's calendars in there. There's things where you can write about your goals and all of that.
It's kind of like a planner.
And then
journal planner.
Yeah, I think planner.
Well,
but
no, it's more like a journal because the beginning.
It's more like a journal. There's like 2 pages of planner pages.
Yeah,
and then
it's plan something.
It's whatever your heart desires. It could be a diary.
Be whatever you want. And then my personal favorite, obviously, the pens are finally here. It's taken months and months and months for us to get these pens, but they are here. They write beautifully. They're up to my pen standards. We have the classic dark purple, light purple, and then white, and I love them. I think they're great. They come in a pack of 3, so it's perfect if you're going back to school or
black. Is it black ink?
Yes, it's black ink. Very important. We would never give you a pen anything other than black ink. Black ink is the most official and the most respected. If you use anything other than black ink, people may judge you.
I'm so against blue ink.
Yeah, I in school.
Oh, I never use blue ink.
If I asked somebody, "Hey, can I borrow a pen?" and they gave me a blue pen, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Wait, why?
Black ink is so much more respectable.
I hated red, but I don't mind blue.
Well, red was for corrections. You don't write notes in a red pen.
Yeah, you would never write notes in a red
guess.
pen.
Notes, black pen only. Also, I couldn't, because once you start with my notebooks and taking notes, if I started taking notes on day 1 in school with a black pen, it's got to be consistent. The whole notebook's got to be black pen. If there's some random pages of blue in there, nope.
I agree with that. It just looks better. It's neater. So black
also
ink,
the laptop cases I actually think are very cool. I want one.
Are they in the studio?
I don't think they're in the studio yet, but they're very like colorful. I don't know.
Very colorful. Cool. And sweatshirts.
And
the mugs.
Of course.
What's up, everyone?
Mug. So you can get them for work, get them for school. If you do neither of those things, just get it for life. You can never go wrong with having a pen and a journal. So get on that. Link is in the description. We're going to talk about some topics. We're going to be talking about Addison Rae's family drama, which is actually really sad, but it's all the internet is talking about right now. So we got to talk about it. Britney Spears and Elton John confirm their collaboration, and Camila Cabello confirms her new boyfriend. So let's get into it, starting with Addison Rae. And of course, we have the Bachelorette recap with Trent that we didn't talk about the Bachelorette for like the first 10 minutes. That's a fair warning. And usually what happens anyway.
That's our intro.
Yeah. So let's get into it, starting off with Addison Rae. It's still summer. It has not ended yet, so don't worry, everybody. You still have time to enjoy a beautiful summer cocktail, and I think that the perfect summer cocktail includes a nice little pink lemonade vodka, and that is Pink Whitney. Pink Whitney is the perfect summer treat, in my opinion. Pink lemonade, vodka combined. Everyone loves fresh lemonade on a hot summer's day. Add vodka into that to give you a nice little buzz. It will have you feeling great. You can head over to your local bar and make sure to order some Pink Whitney. You can do Pink Whitney shots. You can just make a drink out of Pink Whitney in it. Maybe add a little Sprite, a little more lemonade if you want. Who knows? Whatever you prefer. You know, I've been at a bar recently where their signature drinks will have Pink Whitney in it. You know, their special drinks. So make sure you go to your local bar, check out Pink Whitney, or you could pick up a bottle of Pink Whitney at your liquor store. Check it out that way. Fun for a pregame or whatever you want. We drank it on our West Coast tour, and it definitely got the party started, got us feeling great, got the crowd feeling great. So make sure you check out Pink Whitney at your local bar or liquor store. So this whole thing is very bizarre, very sad. I want to preface it like that because I feel bad and guilty almost even talking about it, because I feel like Addison is probably struggling so hard with having to see her parents kind of like fight over social media. Not necessarily. They're not even really fighting. Monty is just out of control. Her dad is just completely out of control. A couple of weeks ago, there were rumors that he cheated on Sherry, who's Addison's mom. with a girl in her early 20s, and it was multiple women, and he was seen out, flirting with young girls. Just very odd. There have been rumors about him for a long time doing these kinds of things. And then Sherry, they unfollowed Monty. Sherry changed her bio from wife to single mom, so it was very clear that they weren't going to be together anymore. And then Young Gravy got into the mix. Now, Young Gravy has been going off on social media all over the place. This guy is really popular right now. And he talked, it was like a joke about him and MILFs, right? Like, I don't even know. It's partially a joke, partially not a joke. Started, I think, jokingly flirting with Addison Rae's mom over social media. Now, this is where Monty then decided to come into play and make one of the most bizarre videos I've ever seen grace the internet yesterday, where he basically transforms into the Hulk on his TikTok because Young Gravy doesn't want to fight him. And he's like flexing his muscles in a very disgusting, bizarre way, all while making disgusting comments about Sherry on other Instagrams. Like, for example, he's acting all mad about this Young Gravy stuff, although then he's saying stuff like, someone wrote, "Don't let a bum come in and take your woman." He wrote, "LOL, she's not my woman." Somebody commented, these comments are disgusting, by the way. Somebody commented, "He's about to blow her back." This is internet commenters for you. And Monty wrote, "LOL, I've been doing that for 22 years. Had to trade her in." Another person wrote, "Sherry don't want," and it's blanked out, "Monty. She's happily baking cookies for her new man." Monty wrote, "She don't cook." Somebody wrote, "Well, he did cheat with a 20-year-old. He has a type." He commented, "Can I get a hell yeah?" There was videos of him seen getting into cars with younger women. It's also disgusting and bizarre and actually very sad.
It's really gross behavior. There's so many, this might sound harsh, but there's so many stupid things that you can be arrested for. He should be able to be arrested for that. I just
he should be in jail now.
It's so manipulative, and hanging out with these young girls who, yes, you could argue are of age, but so many times it goes so much deeper than that, and you're still at a young age where you don't know how these power dynamics can work. And with a guy like him who's just this small steroidy ball, and you just are it's very gross. It's gross behavior. It's really sad because it's not only Addison, she's got younger siblings, and there's that for kids that are teenagers and seeing this happen with their parents. It's awful, and it's all playing out on social media. And Addison unfollowed her mom.
Yeah, and
as
Sherry
well,
commented,
and she commented heart-wrenching on the post. So I don't know if Addison, just because of what is happening, feels the need to separate herself from both parents, because at the end of the day, this is an incredibly tough situation. And if you're trying to deal with your dad's erratic behavior, and he's still your dad, and your mom is heartbroken and dealing with all this as well, if Sherry getting in the middle of this or making comments about Monty or any of these things like that, it's a lot. It's hard to process. It's hard to process that those are your parents. You have to come to terms with that your parents are doing things like this. So maybe she just felt like, I gotta take a step back from all of this. But it's hard to see, and we don't really have any more details about it than what the parents have been posting on social media. It's not even the kids. The kids are not posting on social media. It's the parents. It's so ass backwards.
He needs to get his TikTok taken away from him or suspended, because the things he is posting right now are just so out of line, and I feel really bad. Sherry commented,
should I go report his account?
Honestly, now would be the time if you're going to report anybody. But Sherry commented I know this something like I know this may be funny for some of you, but I'm really scared of this man. And I mean, I would be too after that video of him acting so angry. Like it's so scary
it's really
and
freaky,
really sad. And there's
he's
clearly
deranged.
something
He's
wrong with
deranged
him.
right now. He's
There's
deranged
something
right now.
wrong with him. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's on drugs. Like I don't know what the fuck it is. But I'm just like, how do human beings act this way unless there's something wrong with you, right? Like you don't. A normal human being does not act like this. Like
no.
If
I had to guess, there's some steroids involved.
Yes,
as well.
Yeah, and that's that'll make you act up,
fuck with your brain and everything.
Yeah, and then I'm sure he's hanging around all these young people. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like partaking in some drugs that he probably never got into in his life, and then all of a sudden they got money and whatever, and now he's like doing all these things because he thinks he's cool. He made such a weird comment like. Someone asked, like, where would Addison sit if you and Young Gravy fought each other? And he was like, Addison's a winner. She only sits with winners. And it's like, it just like the way you're talking about your daughter is so gross. Like she's like a prize. You know what I mean? Like I really think he has like broken her down to just be like a cash grab. Like he's not even seeing his family for his family right now. He's seeing all of this as like money, money, money. And I think that's so ugly. Like, I just think that's an awful trait to have. And I feel really, really bad for Addison and her siblings. I think it's awful. Like, I even feel bad talking about it, but obviously we have to. But I'm just like, it's just, it's crazy.
It is. It really is. And she's, how old is Addison? 21?
I think she's like 22 or 21.
It's so young. So young.
Yeah, she's 21.
And she's 21. And you have to deal with, it's nuts. And she seems so sweet. And I know I texted you guys this, but it like not as Addison spiraling, but like having parents, controlling crazy parents who could eventually have a crazy effect on the children, to like kind of, a Britney Spears situation of parents who get this taste of the fame and the money and how their dynamic affects their children and how their children grow up in these really formative years. And for this also now for social media to be such an added element that is such a wild card. You have all these videos, all this shit lives forever, no matter if you delete it or post it for 2 seconds, take it down, it's screenshotted, it's reshared. The TikTok rooms of the world like reshare everything. So you see it all, where even like one comment that you make where you comment something and you think, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. It's going to be screenshotted. It's going to be reshared. And they have to deal with seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, it's so fucked up, honestly. And it doesn't seem like he's stopping anytime soon. He's going after Tana now because Tana Mojo was, I think, one of the first people to ever talk about Monty, like, being kind of creepy and, like, going out with young people and stuff. And now he's going after Tana, being like, you should be arrested for like how many bodies you've slept with, like hounding her, being like, Tana, tell us, is it over 300? Is it over 300? I'm like, ew, like such a creep.
Gross. So gross.
If I honestly would never speak to my dad again. I really wouldn't. I would just disgusting. Be like, get out of my life, you freak.
Yeah, it's really, it's hard to see. It's hard to see it play out. And, I got to imagine Young Gravy is probably like, wish I didn't get involved in this.
Yeah, he's got to be like, damn, really should have kept that joke in.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
It's summer. It's hot, right? Like it's really sweaty out there, okay? And I don't have a full package down there, okay? I don't, but I'm sure guys out there with a full package are struggling a little bit with the sweat, okay? Things are all sticking together, yeah, you know what I mean? Things are sticking together, and if you have hair down there, that's just adding to the mix. It's going to get sweaty, it's going to get smelly, and it's going to be a disaster. And you don't want that, okay? You don't want your man to have that. You don't want anybody to have that. That's why you have to introduce them to Manscaped, specifically the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. It has everything you need to keep you having, keep you smelling good, feeling good, not so sweaty, feeling right for the summer. You got the Lawnmower 4.0, which has all new skin safe electric trimmer technology. So it's a safe trimmer. You don't get those cuts, those burns, whatever it is. Lawnmower 4.0. You got the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Very important to keep those things clean as well. Nobody likes to see nose hairs coming out of people's noses. Okay. We want those things trimmed up. You also have the deodorant for down there. Like I said, sweaty and smelly and not good. And you also have disposable shaving mats, which are also coming in handy. So you can get 20% off plus free shipping with code CHICKS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code CHICKS at manscaped.com. People are very excited about this collaboration between Britney Spears and Elton John. It seems like Britney Spears will be hopping on for a version of Tiny Dancer. Everyone has seen the success of Elton John and Dua Lipa's song. So I feel like, Elton John, he's like, why not? Why not throw another pop star in the mix? And why not make it Britney Spears? Still unsure if this was recorded years ago or if it's recent.
Apparently not. Apparently that was not true.
Yeah, either way, it's exciting and people are going to love it and people are going to love to hear from Britney and everyone loves Elton John. So,
yeah, I love that he just posted one on Instagram where it just says, hold me closer. And it's the rose emoji and the rocket emoji. So everyone obviously knows what that means. We know how much Britney uses that rose emoji.
He's so cute. I can almost hear it. Like I can hear her singing it.
I know. I'm very excited. It's going to be really nice. I also didn't see Elton posted a beautiful tribute to Olivia Newton-John.
What a man. What a gem.
I know. He wrote, the saddest of news to wake up to. Olivia was a beautiful and courageous woman who I never heard complain about her illness. A beautiful voice and a warm and loving friend. I will miss her so much. Condolences to her family and loved ones. Oh,
Elton.
That was definitely sad. I know we're talking about Elton John, but I mean, talk about an absolute legend, Olivia Newton-John, and battling breast cancer for like 30 years. Just crazy. And she was such a force and iconic lady.
So sad. So young still. 73 to me is like it's still young.
I know. And just having to fight breast cancer for that long is pretty nuts. And she was so great. Kate Hudson posted this video of her singing Hopelessly Devoted to You. She sounds so good. If you want to listen to that, you can listen to that. But the Elton, I also think that this is a great way for Britney, if she does, because I'm, mixed signals from Britney on whether or not she wants to be doing music anymore. But this feels like a really good way to ease back into it if she does. Like, this is a good starting thing to be like, let's put this out. Elton John, it's going to be huge. We'll see what happens. And if it excites you and you want to do more, you can. And if you don't, you don't. Because it's not like this is a Britney Spears has a new single and it's all about Britney. It's a collaboration. So it gives you a little bit more freedom, which is good because she has posted many times saying she is not looking to do music.
Yeah, and I'd imagine when Elton John comes calling, you don't decline.
You definitely don't. Not when it's a remix of Tiny Dancer. It's going to be so good. Cold Hearts, like you said, it was an amazing song, and he literally sings it in his show, and everybody loves it. Blew up that much, and so I think this is a great sign, and I like that it actually is coming from Elton. There was so much before that was kind of just speculation that this was coming out, but with him posting it himself, it's like, oh, this is actually happening.
Yeah, I like to see it from him, and like I said, he's just such a cute man. Like, whatever he does, I'm like, you know what, Elton, we support.
You guys have heard us talk about the Allbirds sneakers on here, but Allbirds also have great flats. The Tree Breezer flat is from Allbirds. It's a breathable, super supportive, and it will keep you comfy from morning to night. They're made of eucalyptus fiber, so they're moisture wicking and odor reducing. They're perfect for hot summer days. It's a great transition shoe. It's a little, flats. I feel like if you're a business woman and you got to get a little dressed up for work, these are a perfect shoe for you. They are that good flat silhouette. They go with anything. You can dress them down. You can dress them up. They also could not be easier to clean. You can toss them in the washing machine and air dry for the perfect refresh. The Tree Breezer flats come in a wide range of colors for every occasion, mood, and season. And you can, I would always go neutral. I always like a nice black or blue, something that's not too crazy that can match with anything. And it's a great shoe to wear all throughout the day and into the night. It's super versatile. Lightweight, breathable, and cushy all day, the Tree Breezer is your secret to a comfy summer. Find your perfect pair at allbirds.com today. That's ALLBIRDS.com. There's been some speculation Camila Cabello was dating a new man. We saw some paparazzi photos this week confirming that. There's some hand-holding, a little smooch here, smooch there. She is now dating Austin Kevich, I believe is how you say his name. He is the CEO, founder of Locks Club, which is a dating app. And it's funny. It's funny for us because we have a friend that's his cousin.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It feels like
I feel like we can't talk about it without giving that disclaimer of like,
right.
We do have a friend that is his cousin. So we have seen him I've seen him, I've never met him, but I've seen him on Instagram a ton of times in like a family capacity of when she posts with him.
Right.
And I when Dumois first posted that like, oh, somebody said like, oh, I think Camila Cabello and Austin have something, I sent it to her and was like, holy shit. And she was like, we went back and forth about it. So crazy. And now it's really happening.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I like we said, it just feels weird to talk about. Like, good for them. Like, I
know.
I feel like we've seen this man so many times on our Instagram stories.
I know.
That I feel like we know him, but we don't.
I know.
And so
I also just love this move for Camila too, though. I feel like after dating somebody who is also a musician and you're in such a power couple dynamic where it's like you're making songs together and you're this musical duo, that kind of flipping the switch a little bit and going with someone who understands the life but is not fully immersed in it is a good choice. And he is very cute. He does give Shawn Mendes vibes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't really pick up on that, but I guess I could see where you're coming, but like not really.
I think it's just like the hair, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure in a couple weeks from now we'll see Shawn Mendes dating somebody else.
Yeah, people have been very annoyed with Shawn Mendes. He's just like living his life, and everyone's like, "You canceled your tour." But I hate.
I would rather him go live his life than be miserable on tour.
It's like I also hate that argument. And if you're really a true fan of someone, like when someone says, "Oh, I have to cancel to take care of my mental health," do you expect them to sit in their house for months and not leave and just like they have to live their life? They have to
tell you.
Like sometimes being social and being with friends and going out and doing things is what helps your mental health.
Right. Let me tell you, sitting inside all the time ain't going to help. Not at all. So exactly. I do not expect Shawn Mendes to just sit in his house every day. Right.
Did they expect that because he canceled his tour that he's just not going to be seen out ever?
Like, I think they expect him to be bedridden. Like, no, when people need to take care of themselves, they got to do things. Maybe he feels like he hasn't been putting his friends as a priority or his family as a priority or like just his life in general. And he's like, I want to make time for this.
So, yeah. And I'm very excited. I'm excited to see more pictures of the two of them. Also great publicity for Locks Club. I think.
Yeah. I didn't I remember hearing about it. And then I was reminded yesterday when I looked it up. I was like, oh.
Exactly. Like, did Camila Cabello...
It's a Jewish dating app.
It is, but it's also not. Like, it's... Anybody can be on Locks Club.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like... It's not like you have to say whether or not, and then you're let in or not let in. Anybody can join Locks Club, but that was the original main focus, I believe. And now, but that's what I'm saying. When all these articles are like, oh, Camila Cabello has a new man, and they list his name and what he does, definitely probably gonna have a lot more people checking out the app or seeing what it's all about. So It's a very good pairing in my eyes. Very interesting. I would love to know how they met.
Me too. Maybe we
Like,
can ask.
yeah, give me an origin story. We'll have to give. I'm so nosy. Like, could not be more nosy. Like, nobody has to tell me this, but I'm so nosy and I want to know.
All right. I think he lives in California, so I don't know.
Probably. But she lived in Miami, doesn't she?
I don't know.
I don't know. All right. Anyway. Anyway, good. Exciting news for the new couple. We have our Bachelor recap with Trent, but first, guys, Vizzy. Summer is winding down. It's time for something fresh during the season of change. So whether you're cozying up for cuffing season or hosting a tailgate that will be the envy of the lot, pass the vibe check with the case of bold, delicious Vizzy Hard Seltzer. Vizzy Mimosa has the refreshing taste of real orange juice and is perfect for daytime sipping. Comes in strawberry orange, pineapple orange, peach orange, and pomegranate orange. This is a great tailgating drink. We're getting into fall, football season. You know, those are some early mornings. You got to be up, you got to be ready, you got to be ready to go. So the Vizzy Mimosa is a great way to start the day when you know you are rooting for your team or whatever it may be. If you like to shake things up or just keep your options open, try a Vizzy variety pack for so many different flavors. Variety pack 1 is strawberry kiwi, blueberry pomegranate, black cherry lime, and pineapple mango. And number 2 is watermelon strawberry, raspberry tangerine, papaya passion fruit, and blackberry lemon. My personal favorite would be variety pack number 2 because I love the watermelon strawberry and I love the blackberry lemon. Blackberry lemon is so delicious. Vizzy Hard Seltzer, flavors for every vibe. You can go to VizzyHardSeltzer.com/chicks to find Vizzy near you. That's VizzyHardSeltzer.com/chicks. And to hear first about the latest flavor drops and more, sign up at VizzyHardSeltzer.com/subscribe. You must be 21 or over. Celebrate responsibly. And always, guys, coming from the Molson Coors Beverage Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the Bachelorette recap. I skipped out on cutting stems last night so I could save myself for this recap. You know, I just hate exerting all my energy into cutting stems when I could be bringing it to this lovely, wonderful podcast. So how we doing?
Cool. That is unbelievable spin zone from Rhea. I just snaps for you on that one. That's really... That is really one way to look at it. Trent is here. Hey, Trent.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Excited to be here.
Hey, Mr. Wonderful.
Hey.
Your apartment looks good.
Thank you. A lot of compliments because we did cutting stems remote as well. A lot of compliments about the apartment. I appreciate it. What it is, though, it's a reflection of how shitty my last apartment was. People are like, whoa, he's out of the dungeon. He is no longer in a black hole of an apartment. It is nice, though. I got a nicer place, so here we are. It's a better background.
The quality of life just had to have improved times a million.
Yeah. I mean, being out on Long Island, I like living in Manhattan. I was in Manhattan for like 5.5, 6 years, and it was great. But yeah, living out on Long Island I got a car. There's just more space. I can get to the office in an hour if I have to. The train station I can literally see it. I can hear the trains when they honk their horn. It's good. It's a better quality of living for sure.
Closer to Big Rhea. You went to the bathroom and you kept the door open. That was bold. You felt like you were just peeing on all of our faces. Like a sweating dominant.
I live here. It's not like...
No, I know, but you were on camera.
Yeah, but it's
to
not
clarify,
like
we couldn't see into the bathroom.
Thank you very much. That would be like I think I would have to talk to HR if that happened. So it's in the back, and you guys can't see in there, and I pay rent here. I live here. I just leave it. When you guys go to the bathroom at your own places, when there is no camera rolling, regardless, door open or door closed?
Door open, but
I always leave it open.
If I was on Zoom with you guys and I was like, BRB, gotta go to the bathroom, I would be so self-conscious of you guys hearing my dribble that I would shut the door.
Well, Rhea, first of all, let's throw the disclaimer on there that Rhea is a very self-conscious peer. So
I have severe stage fright.
Yeah, that plays a big role into that decision.
I'm actually quite comfortable peeing in front of certain people, but Fran being one of them. but there's something that really leaves me unsettled is when I'm trying to pee in the bathroom here at work. And we have stalls. It's not just like a one person bathroom. And I'll be like trying to focus because sometimes I really need to focus for it to come out. And somebody comes in and all of a sudden my focus is off. And then I think that they think I'm doing the other thing. And I'm like, oh, great. Now I got to flush immediately. So they got to think I'm wrapping up. They can't think that you know what I mean? And I'm like, I get so in my head about it that
It's such
really
it's such a funny quality because like it really doesn't match the rest of your personality. Like I don't think anybody would guess that you'd be the kind of person who would be in a bathroom and if someone came in and be like, oh my God, they think I'm pooping. I gotta flush. I gotta get out of here. Like I'm so nervous. Like the amount of times I've walked into that bathroom and she's been in a stall and there's silence, but then I just hear her go, Fran? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. It's just me.
I'm a lady. No, I can't even say the other word. Like I hate.
She hates bathroom humor. Hates it.
It doesn't. I guess it really doesn't match my personality because I'm a very open human being. But one thing I am not open about is
potty talk.
The number 2 potty talk. I'm not open about it at all.
You're so nervous right now.
I'm sweating. I hate the word. Can I tell like a quick funny story?
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
So like I hate, like I can't even say the F word. Like I cannot remember the last time I ever said that word ever. Like it just won't come out of my mouth. It gives me the shivers. So I have like my parents have always joked around being like, we don't even know if Maria goes to the bathroom because I just don't talk about it. But one night I was out with my boyfriend and his parents and we had a lovely dinner and my tummy started hurting really bad. Like really, really, really bad. Like, you know, when you like start sweating, like now
Yes.
I'm like being too open. And I was like, oh my God, what do I like? We were just like walking around the city, like looking for like bars to go to. And I was like, I gotta get home. Like, I don't know what to say, how to go about this. I'm dripping sweat, like whatever. And I'm like, my stomach really hurts. Like I'm trying to like drop hints and he's like, okay, we'll go soon. I'm like, no, my stomach really hurts. And I'm like, we gotta go. So we get in the Uber and I'm like, listen, the jig is up, okay? I go to the bathroom and I gotta go really bad right now. And I took my shoes off. I like lifted my pants up, you know, like I was sweating. I had my head out the window and that was it. I was like, that's it. The jig is up. I do go to the bathroom.
So I think I know the answer to this, but you're obviously not a public restroom person then.
No, if there was an emergency, yes.
I mean, it sounds like we were pretty close to an emergency in that last story.
It was pretty close to an emergency, which is really funny because it was the same day, and now I'm outing my sister, and she may kill me. She pooped her pants at the Coliseum.
What?
She might kill you. Yes, you are right. She might kill you.
She did. It was the same day, and I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something in the air. But yeah,
at a concert or a
no, in Italy.
Oh, at the Coliseum.
At the Coliseum.
At the Coliseum. Coliseum of Rome.
Not the Nassau Coliseum.
Not the Nassau Coliseum. It would be acceptable. No, it was in Italy.
Wow, what a memory.
Yeah.
What a memory.
No, the Coliseum.
No, the Coliseum. I would have said Nassau Coliseum.
Oh my!
I want you to know, and I Fran's in the same boat as me. I immediately went to Nassau Coliseum.
Say it immediately.
No, that wouldn't have been a story. The story here is that it happened at the Coliseum in Italy.
Oh,
you know what's funny about that? Now that you've told that story that your sister is probably going to kill you for, if I ever go there, I'm going to walk in there and not be like, this is where that movie that I've seen that movie. This is where it was. I'm going to be like, oh, Ria's sister. That's what I'm going to think about when I first walk in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, she's way more open about this stuff. Like she probably won't even be embarrassed, but I would be. But yeah, that's how much anxiety it gives me to even like speak about it. But now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable these days.
Open
clearly,
it up.
I just told all those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Nobody loves bathroom humor like the Marianos, my dad's side of the family. We're big bathroom humor.
It makes me
people.
so uncomfortable. I
A
hate
lot
hanging
of
around your dad's side of the family.
A lot of bathroom humor. Oh boy, yeah.
Like, do you guys, like, when somebody, like, I'm sorry, we haven't even talked about The Bachelorette, but
I know.
when somebody does the F word,
Okay.
Jesus
do you
Christ.
guys laugh? Like, do you think that's funny?
You're talking to a guy. I mean, what do you want? I mean, what answer do you think you're going to give?
This is the thing for me though, because when it's my dad or my uncles, the reaction from either my mom or their wives is what makes it funny. Like it happens, and then like my mom will be like, "Oh, John, God," like, and they've been married for 30 years. She has the same reaction every time, but it always makes us laugh because it makes him laugh so much. Like he then laughs so hard at my mom, and my grandpa, my dad, my uncles, they all have a very addicting laugh. Like they have one of those old man like wheezing laughs that is just so funny. And then they all start laughing, and it's
sometimes the laugh is contagious. You know what I hate though? When couples are like, I'm gonna say it, but like I just know that this is not me. This is couples that like on TikTok, whatever. They're like, "Oh my god, like I'm gonna fart on your face." Like I hate that.
No.
I hate that so much.
Nope. I actually saw that. It just physically pains you.
Funny.
It just physically pains you for that word to come out of your mouth. I saw it when you said it.
Right. That was real bravery you just showed there, and we felt like we made progress there.
Like imagine that. Like try to imagine you had a girlfriend, like in like this other universe where you would have a girlfriend.
Whoa! Are you saying that it's impossible in this universe? Like, let's think of the craziest scenario in a different universe.
Let's throw something wild to the wall and see if it sticks. Trent has a girlfriend.
That's different though.
And you guys were sitting on that couch together, that beautiful couch, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fart on your face." Like I hate that.
Yeah, it certainly depends on how long you've been together, but like I would say probably not.
That is never okay. That's just never okay.
But the thing is, like when guys are around, like when you're around your friends, like it becomes one of the funnier things that can happen. And then it becomes like a competition. Like guys are just so different in that regard.
You guys are farm animals.
I don't disagree with that. I was thinking about it when we were talking about leaving the door open when I was taking a piss. Like there's nothing I love better than like when I'm on a golf course and you just walk into the wilderness and you just take a piss. Like that's being alive right there. Yeah. Like when I'm in a bathroom, I feel caged in. Like I want to go.
I had that freedom.
I want to go wander to some grassy area and just take a piss.
Mm-hmm.
Must be nice.
I do think, girls do that, but not when they're like sober. You know what I mean? Like guys really like whatever. Like if a girl's drunk and she's out, she's got to pee somewhere. Like maybe she'll do it behind a bush or whatever. But it's too unpredictable.
It is. We're going to have Noah actually put a little disclaimer in the podcast description of like timestamps and actually mark the Bachelor recap discussion starting now and maybe go back like 15 minutes and just say that we discuss potty talk for 15 minutes before we get to the recap, which I guess we should do now. Is that all right?
Yeah, let's get into it. I feel all pottied out.
All right, everyone's fulfilled with their potty talk. Okay, the Bachelorette lost this week was in Bruges, Brussels. No, they were in Belgium. Brussels is another place. Bruges, Belgium. Beautiful, beautiful looking place. The episode picked up with the Logan drama where Logan decides that he wants to switch sides from Rachel to Gabby. He goes to talk to Rachel. He breaks up with Rachel. Rachel's upset, but also like handles it pretty maturely. We can really talk about this whole thing in one swoop, I guess. So basically, and then we'll get back to talking about the dates. But as far as Logan as a whole goes, he spoke to Rachel. He spoke to Gabby. Gabby and Rachel spoke. And there was really not a single yelling moment, dramatic moment.
No.
They had a pretty calm conversation between all of them. And I think for Logan's sake, he was like, damn, I think that went as well as it possibly could have went.
I think that's right. And I've been making this point now, and I firmly believe it. Like, we've been talking on this show and on Cutting Stems about this is a 2 Bachelorette season, and they're running parallel to each other. There's no rules. Nobody set it up in any sort of way. They just kind of were like, go do it, and we'll see what happens. And what we think, or what I think, is that the producers want a situation like this Logan one where a guy's trying to flip over to one side or the other, and then the girls are going to fight about it. There's going to be this huge blow up like, Logan can't switch, and if he is going to switch, you got to send him home right away. And that just doesn't happen. And I'm now starting to float to the side where I'm a little bored with everything that's going on. Like, I need more drama. Like, I think with this show...
But also credit to Gabby and Rachel for not, like, succumbing to the producer. Like, you can so tell that they are being set up to fight, and yet they're still not fighting, which is very impressive. It is not making great television, but it is very impressive.
It's incredibly impressive. I completely agree with that. But we also, it almost makes me think that they're being overly like nice to the point where when you do it that way, it actually starts to get fake in that direction where it's like, no, everything's fine. Like, as a television viewer, and this is a reality TV show, like sometimes I think with this show, people forget that where we don't want anybody to fight. We don't want any feelings to get hurt. We don't need any of this. But like, that's the real world. We're watching reality television. So I would rather be fake in the direction where they're like, fuck you. If you take Logan, then you and I are done. We're not talking the rest of this show. Instead, it starts going fake the other way where they're like, no, take Logan. I hope you find love. I think that's going to be I think it's going to be fantastic.
Trent, I agree with you. I was watching it and people were tweeting like, oh my God, they're such great friends. Like, I just love their friendship for each other. And it's like, yes, we do love that. And I think it's something that we've appreciated the whole time. But like to a point where it's not fake. Like, this is becoming a little fake. Rachel just bawled her eyes out about Logan rejecting
Cancel the date!
Bawled her eyes out and canceled the date. It is not okay. It is not okay that Logan went to Gabby in Rachel's eyes, okay? So I think...
And Rachel did kind of say that too, right? Like,
yeah.
After she had the conversation where she was like, look, if you got to figure out what you got to do, if you need to explore this path, go for it. But in her own interview, she was like, oh, I really hope she just sends Logan home. Like, I don't trust him.
Like,
but she didn't say that to Gabby's face.
Right. No, and that's why it's fake. Like, we all know in the real world, if this was happening, Rachel and Gabby might not talk a little bit. They might go through a little rough patch where Rachel's going to be like, can you believe it? Like, I was talking to Logan, and then Gabby all of a sudden swooped in and started talking to Logan. Like, I'm a little pissed about it. You know, they'll probably resolve it, but in a real life situation, people are going to be upset about that. Like, she is going to be mad at her friend for doing that. So I do think they're almost trying to overcompensate for the fact that they're trying to make them fight. And now they're like overly being like, we're definitely not going to fight. And they don't even have to fight about it. Like, it doesn't even have to be necessarily a fight. It's more like a conversation like, hey, you know, I think like, not even that Rachel even has the right to tell Gabby what to do, but just like, hey, yeah, you know, it's going to piss me off if you keep Logan here. If you feel the need to do that, go ahead, but it's going to piss me off.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, I do too. I do think that there is that element for sure. I do really like the way that both women have approached a lot of these situations. It was the right move for Gabby to say, hey, I'm going to talk to Rachel before I give you an answer, so that Logan did kind of have that little bit of purgatory time. But also there was no doubt in my mind that he was staying. We talked about this last week. I was like, I really do think Gabby's going to let him stay. The producers this season, as much as they want to say, oh, we had no idea how this was going to go down and we're making up everything as we go along, like, they had a plan here. They were going to someone was always going to switch over, I think. Like, there was never going to be just smooth sailing here for Gabby's guys and Rachel's guys. So Logan, in a way, is like the sacrificial lamb of he's going to be the one that goes over. And I do think a lot of that comes from their own idea. But it's definitely, you know, Logan goes to a producer and says, hey, like I kind of am thinking I missed out on Gabby. And the producer's like, you should definitely tell Rachel that. And then you should definitely tell Gabby that you want to switch sides and you should definitely see what happens. Like they
Right.
know that that's going to create the most buzzworthy moment. And then they're definitely banking on some drama with Gabby and Rachel, and they're not getting it. So it's interesting to see how it's going to happen and to see what happens more with Logan. But for like, it's been tough to watch Rachel. We can talk about her group date. She cancels her group date at this time. Also, before we even do that, what happened to their fake tan, spray tan, whatever situation was going on for the both of them on this boat? It was terrible. I don't know how they let that happen. I don't know how somebody on camera didn't say, like, let's pause filming for a second and fix this. It was bad.
It was really bad. It was really bad. Like, when they were putting their hands up, like, resting to their face, I was like, who did this? Who hired this person? Because when they got dressed up, the spray tan looked great. It just was like that the discoloration of the hands. Have they not learned?
It was like the early stage. It was like, did they do that themselves and really butcher it that badly, or did they go get a really bad spray tan somewhere?
No, like, aren't we past the days of like orange hand spray tans? I feel like the technology has improved greatly.
It has.
And
how often am I getting duped by a spray tan when I see somebody walking down the street?
Probably
all the time.
Really?
Often. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should put some on my legs.
You can.
Good call up Jeff D. He's got a guy.
Yeah.
He does have a guy. I mean,
you can do the own self tanner at home. Get the gloves and everything. It's pretty easy. I've never done
that's where I think I'm going to run into a situation where my legs look like the hands last night.
Yeah, but you could use there's levels, right? You can go really hard and get like the mousse and the gloves, and that does take some skill level. Or you could just get like a gradual tanning lotion. That's moisturizer. Yeah, like that's really easy. That's just like the same way you put moisturizer on your skin. You get one of those, and it gradually gets a little of a deeper color.
I got a stupid question. If I were to put self tanner on my legs, and then I wear shorts, and I'm outside and the sun is out, can my legs still get burnt, or does that cover up? Like, is that anti-burn?
Very much can still get burnt. There's no SPF in those products.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't think I'm gonna put it on my legs.
Okay.
I'll keep you guys updated, but I don't think
after that conversation, it didn't seem likely.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't seem too confident in that decision.
No.
So Rachel cancels her day portion of her group date, and it just does feel like it's one thing after another for Rachel, which is tough because you shouldn't be dealing with constant rejection when you're the Bachelorette. That's never happens. And I feel like she's very down on herself that this is happening. And she cancels the day portion. The guys are upset. Fucking Jesse Palmer comes in to the rescue to try to talk to Rachel. If I'm Rachel in that situation, I'm probably like, you're like the last person I want to talk to about this. Because he walks in, he's like, what's going on? Talk to me about it. And he's listening, and then he's like, there's no perfect way to be the Bachelorette. It's like wow, great words of wisdom there, Jesse. Thank you so much for the amazing advice.
I wanted to be the perfect Bachelor. I wanted to be, but I couldn't. Okay.
In those moments,
that was 20 years ago, Jesse. Yeah. Give it up. Give it a rest.
In those moments, he delivers those lines like he's on a daytime soap.
Yeah.
He's really just. There's no easy way to be the Bachelorette. It's like, all right, man. Like that didn't help in the slightest with Rachel. I don't think.
No, just
like I literally would have been like, "Fuck off, Jesse."
Go to another restaurant where we're going to be later.
Yeah. Imagine he came in being like, "Hello, mademoiselle."
Literally,
or if he's like, I got a reservation I got to get to. We got to get out of here soon. So.
He's like, my wife's actually waiting for me. We're going to meet to get drinks. If you did miss this, Jesse, this was maybe my favorite part of the whole night. Jesse Palmer live tweets the show, and they are normally pretty funny because they're kind of like they're kind of, I would equate them sports analogy to kind of like Magic Johnson's tweets about basketball.
100%.
Like where he's just like, tonight, the Magic lose by a score of this, and so had this many points. And you're like, great. We all saw the game. We know that's what happened. Jesse Palmer's tweets are like, looks like things are looking up for Rachel. It's we are all watching. And he tweeted multiple times, twice, that he and his wife were at the same location as the dates. One was Gabby's group date, and then the other was, I think, Rachel, one of their one-on-ones. He was also at the same like restaurant. And it's just like, you're just whining and dining your wife around Europe, and you don't even know where they're filming the show. Like, you don't even know that tonight they're filming a one-on-one date at the restaurant you're at.
That's the part that gets me. It's not that he's going out. I mean, when you go on these trips that of course you're going to go out to dinner. It's going to be great. It's another thing to be the main host of the show and accidentally bumping into dates at night. Like that's insane.
And having to hide.
Right.
And he said he hid behind a tree during Gabby's date.
And this is information he's allowing us to have. He's not an Easter egg in on these dates. He's not like in the background, like, oh, there's Jesse, having a drink. It's like he's tweeting, being like, "Can you believe that my wife and I ran into this date as well on the trip? Unbelievable."
So funny. It's so funny. I don't know.
You're gonna tell me this guy didn't know?
Yes.
Like,
so he claims he tweeted Bruges is a small town. So.
Oh, Jesse. But back to Rachel, you got to get to know these guys, and you can't cancel the day portion of the date because Logan switched sides. I get that the rejection is tough, and that's not something you want to happen. But for these other guys like Tino and was Zach on that date as well?
Yes.
So for these guys who are clearly the front runners, and Tino is head and shoulders above Zach, but those are the two guys who you got to get to know. And you see it when she talked to Tino later, where he's like, "Hey, I don't feel seen when you cancel these dates, and for a reason because Logan decided to switch sides." Now we can have a conversation about Tino and how he felt about that, because that was the first moment where he he became aware to us that he's like, "I'm the front runner, and we need to spend time together if we're going to make this work long term."
I'm officially nervous.
Yeah.
About Tino's confidence level. I think it is really high, and I think it might come back and bite him in the ass, or I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is it's never good when the preview plays and some other guy calls you a baby back bitch. You don't want to be called a baby back bitch on this show.
Nope. And oh my God, you don't want to be called a. You don't want to be called a baby back bitch ever.
Like, but certainly not on The Bachelorette.
In your real life or on The Bachelorette or wherever, it's like one of the most embarrassing insults that one can give you.
Yeah, I'm afraid that he knows he's a front runner.
Yeah,
and he's going to start to get jealous about the other guys and get a little whiny.
Rhea, as a day one Tino and Rachel stan, what was your takeaway from Tino's comments?
I'm so blinded. I don't even hear him speak. I'm so blinded by their chemistry. I seriously, and I'm not like being like, oh my God, like I'm obsessed with Tino. It's like more like I am staying true to what I said, that I think there may be a bump in the road for him, maybe, but I still think they come out on the end.
Okay.
Because to be honest, I don't think she's vibing with the other guys as much.
Fair.
Yeah,
maybe Avon like a little bit. Like I could see Avon kind of swooping in a little bit.
Yeah.
But something about him screams he's not ready to me. Whereas I think Tino's a little bit more ready.
For sure.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. And Rachel did reward him with giving him that rose after they had that conversation. So he got a group date rose. Gabby and her guys had a great group date. The only drama really there, they slapped each other in the face with some fish. They ate some waffles. And then Logan made his switch before the night portion of the date. And there wasn't even really that much drama with that. The guys were like, oh, this is annoying. And the numbers game just got a lot harder. It's just going to be harder for one of us to get a rose now. So that was a big part of that. And then Nate got Gabby's group date rose in that scenario. I do want to throw this in there, and I don't really know too much, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Nate. I think everybody has really liked Nate. And today, Reality Steve posted an article, which he has not done in a while, and he did preface that. He was like, I've kind of been out of the exposing people game because it gets messy, and if you have like anonymous sources, all these things, like people don't believe you, it turns into this whole big thing. So he said he did post it because he did have the receipts, and both women gave their names and Instagrams and were like, we're standing behind what we're saying here. And one woman claimed to date Nate from like the beginning of 2020 to some point in 2021. And then, she found out he was going on The Bachelorette. And they had a fairly normal, it seemed like, romance where she sent screenshots of conversations and they met families. And then she had come to realize that the beginning of like 2021, he was also seeing somebody else in a different place. And there was some overlap there, which is not crazy. Like, there are guys out there who date multiple women at the same time and do try and get away with it. And it's just, if he was like really telling both these women that he loves both of them, is obviously shitty behavior. But the big thing was that the woman, and I believe Kelsey is her name, she did not know that he had a daughter. She found out that he had a daughter while watching The Bachelorette and him saying it on TV. However, the other woman said that within like a month of knowing him, he told her that he had a daughter. So one woman he told he had a daughter, one woman he didn't tell. They were together or dating for like a year and a half. She found out on the show. It's like, it's not so crazy, like, holy shit, bat, alarm. Right. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I skimmed because I saw this article as well, and I sort of looked through it, and I didn't pick up enough specifics to make like a ruling on it. It is odd to be dating someone for a year and a half. Yeah, it's weird. It is odd to be dating someone for a year and a half and not finding out that they have a kid. I think that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Imagine how much that is to juggle 2 women and a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, this got to take up a lot of your time, no?
And one woman knows, one woman doesn't know. And then apparently, apparently he had a friend who was a lady friend who she got involved because she had told one of the girls about the other girl. Like, she was the one who made the 2 girls aware of each other.
Oh, shit.
But she had apparently also hooked up with Nate like a few weeks prior.
Oh, so she was a jelly.
So she was jelly and I think was trying to blow up his spot. So it looked like he was maybe sowing his oats a little bit. He had just gotten divorced. That was the thing. He did not, Kelsey, I believe, also did not know that he was coming out of a marriage. So she didn't know he was coming out of a marriage and did not know he had a child until she watched the show.
Remember the Entourage movie?
Yes.
When E gets all caught up with the girls and they're all like bombarding him, and E's kind of an innocent guy. You never know. I'm just saying, there's 2 ways you could look at it. So,
that is a very interesting comparison. I don't know.
Sloane's pregnant. He hooked up with 2 girls in the span of a day, and they're all bombarding him. One doesn't know that he's expecting a baby. The other one does. Seems like a good comparison in my eyes, but not real. So maybe not.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just something to keep an eye on.
I don't like it. He's probably a nice guy, but I think there is something fishy about that. But I also
that's some shady behavior.
I also think there's something fishy about when somebody gets on TV, all of a sudden people perk up, and all of a sudden they want to start talking so much. It happens every season. Somebody's got a story about somebody. Sometimes it hits, like Jed, and sometimes it misses.
Well, that's real. I think that's reality. Steve's point too, where like every time this does seem to happen, and it's like it's tough to track down the truth. It's really tough. And there's multiple people involved, and people are throwing all these receipts around, and then we're all just supposed to make a judgment call on this is who that person is now. This is how we're going to view them, and that's a very slippery slope.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. Which is why I think he stopped doing it a lot.
People can say anything about anybody, and like
That's true.
Absolutely, which is why I think he had said he tried to make it very clear that he was not doing this or not going to post about it unless he really had gotten a full picture of what happened. And I guess on a judgment call from him, he felt that he had gotten enough information to post the story. She provided like a bajillion screenshots and photos of them and conversations between the two of them, where it definitely feels legit to me, and it feels like the story is what actually happened. It's just you don't have Nate's side of it, so maybe Nate has a reason why he never told her about his daughter. I don't know if it's a good one or a bad one, but he never did, and it's got to be kind of jarring. I mean, you date someone for a year and a half plus, you think you're in love with this person says that they love you, and you watch them on TV, and they're like, oh, by the way, I have a 6-year-old daughter. And you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, like in a year and a half, why doesn't that come up? A year and a half, like that would come up in the first like 3 weeks. They're like, hey, do you want to get dinner this night? It's like, no, I got to watch my daughter. It's like, all right, he's got a daughter. Like it doesn't come up in a year and a half.
I judged Nate completely for not telling, but I also judge the judgment of the woman not being able to figure out that this guy's got a kid somehow, right? Like we're better detectives than that. You're not gonna ask questions of why he can't do things, right? Like at some point, wouldn't you figure it out? Not figure it out, but figure that there's something missing, right? Like wouldn't you be able to,
I don't know.
to detect if somebody had a child after like a year and a half, or not even that they had a child, but there was something that they were hiding in their life?
Right, your mind immediately jumps to like, oh, he's seeing someone else because he's not available on these nights.
Right, there's something going on. What is it?
And she did share she shared like a lot of pictures of hanging out with Nate's twin brother and like family like events. So it's crazy that, like the twin brother doesn't say, oh, was everyone in on it that she didn't, hey, don't mention my daughter. She doesn't know about it. Where it's not like your twin brother doesn't say, oh, hey, like how's insert daughter's name here? Like,
yeah, that's shady.
It's weird. It is.
I think it's all shady. I think Nate's being shady. I think the whole thing. I would like a little bit more clarity. I don't know if we'll ever get it.
Yeah, I know. I'm intrigued to see if it's something Nate feels he'll have to talk about or not, or if it just kind of like gets brushed under the rug here. I do think they haven't filmed the men tell all yet, so that could be something. Maybe that comes up, and we'll see what happens. But
now,
he gets that group date. Rose.
Here's a question: if you guys dated somebody that went on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, and they did something wrong that you felt was wrong to you, and all of a sudden they appeared on the show, would you publicly go tell people about it, or would you just talk about it with your friends and be like, this guy? Because I don't think I would publicly say anything.
I wouldn't either. I would definitely make fun of him to my friends to be like, this fucking guy, like we hate him.
With your friends, but you wouldn't go to reach out to media sources to be like, I know something about this guy.
It just depends on the level of how much I'm scorned, I think. Like if it's just like typical asshole, sorry Trent guy behavior that just like our relationship didn't work out and like he was just kind of a dick, that's one thing. If we were engaged and he slept with another woman and broke my heart, I might.
Yeah.
I might say something.
That's a good point. It depends on the level. Yeah.
It's the scorn scale. How scorned am I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I feel like
it's funny to think of Trent like doing it about. It's funny like the opposite side, like on The Bachelor and being like, this girl,
like Trent would never
ruined me.
Trent could have walked down the aisle with somebody that ended up on the show, and Trent would say nothing.
He would bring it up on like week 9 of the recap and be like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I actually knew Samantha once."
Yeah,
and also like I just know because we've seen this happen to so many people, and we've seen people do it that like it never ends in the way that I would imagine what they decide is going to happen, in the end, it just becomes more of a fucking shit show.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you never get. I mean, some people get knocked down bad. I mean, there's people who've done bad things, and then you want to see them get knocked down, and that's a different thing. But when someone's just like an asshole in a relationship, and like Fran said, it ends in a way that you didn't like, and they go after that person publicly, you never get the satisfaction, I would imagine, that you intend to get.
Yeah. Yep, I think I agree with that. So, back to back to the show. He does get that rose, and then we have a couple one-on-one dates. Rachel and Avon and Gabby and Johnny. Both these dates go really well. I don't really think we have too much to say about them. I think Avon is maybe a little bit of a sleeper pick. I think he popped a lot more than Johnny did, just as far as connection wise with like Rachel and Avon. I felt like had more of a connection than Gabby and Johnny do. Rachel and Avon, I think he snuck up on her, and now he's definitely one to watch. Johnny, they had a great time. They laughed. They, sat in that tub of beer, which is funny, and I guess that's fun. I don't know. I mean, going to a brewery is fun, so I'm sure they had a good time, but it feels more friendship level to me, those two.
I really felt something with Johnny, I thought.
I did not at all. I don't think those two have any sexual chemistry.
Yeah, I don't feel it with Johnny.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. Rachel and Avon had way more chemistry.
I was worried for her in the beer bath.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Just like, in terms of like a yeast infection or a UTI or something like that.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Going in a jacuzzi itself isn't good for down there.
Yeah, and you just get into a vat of beer.
Imagine going into a thing of beer. And now beer has yeast in it. So who knows? Maybe it would help or maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I just know that my immediate thought of getting into that would be great. I'm going to have to go to my pharmacy.
Johnny was drinking the beer. He was all into it.
Yeah, they definitely were laughing and had a good time. And I do think during the dinner portion, they were able to open up to each other a little bit more. And that's probably why he did end up getting a rose. But it just feels still a little surface level there where I don't know if it'll quite get deep enough. I think she just has, as of right now, I think she has better connections with Jason, with Eric, with Nate, than she does with Johnny, if you're going to compare him to the other guys. And then at the rose ceremony, there was two people to go home on Gabby's side and one to go home on Rachel's side because of the Logan switch. The guys were kind of all debating. It's funny that they have, Trent, you tweeted this. It's funny that they kind of have this waiting room now. They don't stand all in the same place. Yeah. It's like they get a rose and then they get to go to the men's quarters. They don't stand there with their roses anymore. It's like, oh, you get a rose and then you walk to go meet the other boys. It's kind of interesting. And they're all betting on who's coming out next.
It's a little meta too, because I feel like they're watching the show the way that we watch the show. They're like, who's going to get the rose? You think Logan's going to get it? And those are the conversations that we're having watching it on our TV. I like that part of it. I like that they talk about who they think is going to get the rose or not. It's definitely a different wrinkle.
It's also funny that they talk about it the way we do too. It's like, they're like, I think Tyler's going to come in third, and I think someone's going to come in last. They rank the roses in order of how much they like each other, which I think we all do too. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
They should have them do a live podcast and then they release it after. Where they start recording their thoughts in that little room.
Definitely.
Yeah. And
then we can just hear a little recap of how they were all feeling. So Rachel sent home Meatball, and Gabby sent home Michael and Mario. It's a pretty early departure for a first impression rose winner. Mario did get that first impression rose from Gabby, and he did after that. I mean, it just seemed like he really didn't get enough time with her, and because of that, he got sent home. Logan did get that last rose on Gabby's side, and once that wraps up, the guys seem kind of annoyed, but mildly irritated. It's it doesn't seem they're really making that big of a deal out of it. Next week, they're going to Amsterdam, and the preview, I don't know what to make out of this preview. Both of them are crying. It looks like every guy dumps all of them. I don't know how this is going to go. They made it seem like one by one, these guys are walking out of here, or they're putting all these doubts in their head. And how is this going to work out? And Gabby's questioning if she can be a good mom. And it looked very, very emotional. It looked like Logan maybe tries to switch back and Jesse Palmer says, "Get the fuck out of here."
That would be nuts. That like we have to write off Logan forever if he tries to then switch back.
Yeah, you can't.
Jesse, I really
you
hope
have to be a
I hope it,
madman to do that.
You do. I really hope it happens exactly as it seems like it does in the preview, because the preview makes it seem like Logan says to Jesse he's thinking about Rachel, and Jesse Palmer says, "Pack your bags. You're out of here."
That would be awesome.
And I really hope that's what happens.
He's just like, I'm honestly, bro, I'm sick of you. Just get out.
Yeah, just get
out.
out. Like you get one switch and you can't switch back.
How many, at the end of this, when it's all said and done, do we have 2 engagements? Do we have 1? Do we have 0? What do you guys think?
I feel confident that Rachel is engaged.
Same.
I as this is going on, I have been, and I said on Cutting Stems, I still think both of them are engaged, but I am leaning more. I still think both of them, but I have more confidence in Rachel than Gabby being engaged.
Right.
Because I don't think that there's a clear front runner for Gabby. Because I do think if Nate was a very clear front runner for Gabby, that she wouldn't even have cared to bring Logan back. Like, she was open to bringing Logan back because I don't think she feels as strong of a connection with somebody. Because if she did, she'd be like, it doesn't even matter if Logan comes back. I feel my connection already, or I feel like I have strong connections. So I don't necessarily think that there's one front runner yet for Gabby.
I also think that Rachel is more on the side of like, if I'm going to go through this process, I'm ending up engaged at the end of this. And Gabby could just walk away and be like, fuck this. I don't need an engagement. I don't need to be engaged at the end of this. I'm not going to put myself through that. Where Rachel's like, we're getting engaged.
Right. Yeah. Rachel, I am definitely getting engaged. I don't care if it ends. I'm getting engaged.
This has been so stressful for her too. It feels like week after week, there's something, emotional happening for her in like not a good way. So yeah, I think once you get through a couple weeks like that, you're like, I better fucking be engaged at the end of this. Like any way to get through this and have a happy ending. So I'm definitely leaning that way as well. As of right now, I think it's pretty clear. I think both of us will probably agree here that we'll get Rachel. If we see 4 hometowns each for each girl, I think it'll be for Rachel, Tino, Zach, Tyler, and Avon, and Rachel will be, Gabby will be Jason, Eric, Nate. Funky fourth one could be
Unless
a mystery.
Gabby decides that she does not feel like she is fit to be a mother yet and doesn't want to meet doesn't want to go further with Nate because of his daughter.
Yeah, that's going to be a decision that they're going to have to make for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if that comment came from Gabby herself or came from something one of them said to her. Because she seemed very emotional about it, so I don't know if that is...
I think she gets emotional about those things because of her own mom.
No, definitely, but I'm saying it almost felt like one of the guys made her feel like she would not be capable unless it came from just her own self-doubt at that point. So it looks like it's going to be extremely emotional, and there's a couple guys that I think over the next couple, like next week, it'll be pretty obvious on what goes down in my guess. Like I think we get rid of Ethan and Spencer, and then it'll and it'll be those guys, and then that's when things will get interesting.
8 hometowns. Woo!
Crazy.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we're totally speculating on that's how many will happen. But I think that's what they would do, so.
Yeah. If it's only fair if we're doing 2 Bachelorette seasons.
It is only fair. Okay. All right, I think that wraps it up, and next week we'll be in Amsterdam.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to check out that new back to school merch in the link in the description. We got journals, pens, sweatshirts, mugs, laptop cases, all fun stuff, new stuff that we've never put out before. So make sure you check that out. We love you, and we'll talk to you on Friday.